Today, we'll be taking a look at my least favourite watch brands. And this one's going to be a controversial one, so strap in. Because some of these watch brands featured, I'm pretty sure are some of your favourites. So, let's do it. Unfortunately, one of my least favourite watch brands is one of the most popular when it comes to affordable watches. Although Timex do have a couple of really good watches, the majority of their catalogue for me is as boring as a family birthday party. Yes, the Marlin is a great watch, and the Expedition Titanium isn't half bad either. But when I look at some of the other watches that they have for sale, it sends me into an afternoon nap. I honestly think it's quite comical that they charge £100 for a watch that comes with a brass case, mineral crystal, and a basic quartz movement. These are the sort of specs that you'd find on a watch from your local grocery store, and those watches are usually priced at the same level as a pack of pencils. However, Timex do not price their watches low. It's very clear that they have huge markups on their models, which is fine, everybody's got to eat, but how dare you sell a watch for £100 without a steel case? This one's probably going to be the most controversial on today's list. I am not a big fan of Pagani design. Sure, they do offer some insane value for money, and Timex could actually do with taking a leaf out of Pagani's book, but I hate how they just steal everything they see. I wouldn't trust the guys over at Pagani with a £5 note and a pack of chewing gum, and they'd probably steal the socks off my feet if they had the chance. I somewhat understand it when brands copy the likes of Rolex, because those watches are so expensive that they're offering an affordable alternative. But when they copy the likes of the Tissot PRX and Seiko Cocktail Time, well, that's just embarrassing. Pagani has such high potential too, because they do know how to make a good watch. But they choose to follow popular watches around like a lost puppy needing some milk. Now this one's probably the most painful on today's list. Rotary is a brand with such a rich history, especially when it comes to Great Britain. Rotary was actually one of the 17 companies that was providing watches to the British military for World War II. However, with how terrible their marketing department is, you'd never even know. And with them having such a rich history, you'd expect some cool military watches in their catalogue, right? Nope. Instead, you'll find some Royal Oak knockoffs and Rolex wannabes. My biggest problem with Rotary is that they lack an identity. They have no flagship models, no real recognisable designs, and their watch model structure is just a bit of a mess. If I was at Rotary, the first thing that I would do is create a heritage field watch. Take what was special about those watches and modernise them. Put the trashy skeleton watches in the bin. Create a proper structure and shout our heritage from the rooftops. Okay, the Swiss Pagani. Yes, I'm talking about Steinhardt. This is a brand that, like Pagani, has Rolex's number on speed dial. And if you see a new popular Rolex, you bet your ass that Steinhardt has it in the works already. Steinhardt get away with a lot more than the Chinese homage brands. I suspect that's because of the Swiss-made stamp, but I'm not buying it. Just because a watch has a Swiss-made stamp at the bottom of the dial does not make it amazing. It just makes it more expensive. It is nice to browse the Steinhardt catalogue though and not just see complete Rolex knockoffs, even if they are just copying IWC instead. Now in all fairness, I will say that I do think you can do a lot worse with your money than buying a Steinhardt watch, but I do believe you can do a lot better too. I'm sure that their watches are great, but they should definitely change their brand name to Rolex 2.0. Funnily enough, the brand that everybody else is trying to be like actually takes the top spot. Now, I actually have a lot of respect for Rolex. I mean, it would be impossible not to, really. And I think that the price of their watches at retail is more than fair. But we all know that you have to take your authorized dealer out for a candlelit dinner, massage their feet before bed, and babysit their 2 kids on the weekend just to get on the 5-year waiting list. Now, I can't criticize Rolex designs either. I mean, they're just perfect. Hence why everybody wants to be them so badly. But I hate the fact that you need to beg the authorized dealer just to let you spend your own money. When it comes to Rolex, you have to work harder to spend the money than actually earn it. Wearing a Rolex is still an aspirational achievement. It's just a shame that the whole experience is clouded by scalpers and grey market dealers making way too much money. And if you want some more controversial, terrible opinions on watches, then go and watch my video here on 10 watches that I think you should completely avoid.